Do the proportions, what do you think of the proportions, Dottie? It's, size-wise.
They seem right to me, but I was just curious as to, as I said, my comparison is a 57.
What do others think of the proportion and size? The proportions and the size of the vehicle, just what do others
Rear
think?
view or overall?
Overall.
Oh, overall. Proportion-wise, it looks really good, and that's why I was interested in the dimensions of the wheelbase and overall length. 57 was 102 wheelbase and 100 and something long. It looks like the proportions look very, very good, and the stance looks good. The details are there. They need to be emphasized more, I think, and just a little bit too subtle. And I've said what I've said on American looking versus European looking. But the rear end, I think, does look good. Taillights look very good, but again, that rear bumper could be off of any other car. It doesn't say Thunderbird to me. The taillights scream out Thunderbird, but the rest of the rear end does not. Okay. It's just too...
And the exhaust
too
is
plain. Well, yeah, I don't mind the exhaust not seeing them, but that bumper just... It is just too plain. It is not. If you took away those tail lamps, I wouldn't know what car that was. It's only the tail lamps that tell me, and the Thunderbird emblem that tell me it's a Thunderbird.
Okay.
Well, I think the way it comes down in the back and then comes out again a little bit in the back, I think that has the 55 in it, a little bit subtle, but it's there. And again, the same thing on the back lights as on the front lights. I don't like the plastic lens all the way around. I really think that if you cover it and bring back like an eyebrow, even if it's just even, it gives you more of the idea of the Thunderbird.
Okay. Someone else on the back of the vehicle? Comments?
I want to say I don't mind. I understand, but I don't quite agree on that tail light. I like the lens showing on the side. I think, if the manufacturers could have done that in 55 and 57, they probably would have done it, but they would have still added chrome around it. But I like the three-dimensional look of the tail lamps and the headlamps very, very much. I like the crystal look. I love the look of these tail lamps, this crystal look, where it's like red leaded glass, and the crystal look of the front headlamps. So I hope that that's maintained through into production. Because if you look at some cars, the headlamps look as if they're out, they're dull, and the tail lamps look as if they're out. But Ford started to do these clear crystal tail lamps on some of its current cars, so I hope that what we're seeing here on the model ends up on the production model.
Okay, thank you.
That's really classy.
Any other comments on the rear of the car? Okay, if we could spin it, please. When you think about, what Ford is doing with this car, you can imagine, the debates within Ford about what the style of this car should be. Should we make it a 57, 55, identical? How close should it get? Or should we just come out with a two-seat vehicle and call it Thunderbird, the other end of the spectrum? I think I'm hearing many of you saying that you think the vehicle is probably further away from the 55 than you'd like it to be. Thinking about the marketplace and your friends, what do you think the marketplace would say about this car? And what do you think the marketplace would think as to where this car should be positioned, closer to the 55 or a more modern two-seat car? Bob?
That's got to be a question you've asked yourself a lot. You're trying to reproduce an icon, a perception of something that was, when maybe really it wasn't, but the time seems to make it have been that way. I look at that car, and aesthetically, it's a nice looking car. But I think if I were to take all the badges off, it blends in with a bunch of other cars. I think that car should stand on its own, and it should have some distinctive features to demonstrate this is a Thunderbird. It's going to be very difficult to introduce a new Thunderbird that the general public won't accept as having been like the old Thunderbird. It's going to have carryover characteristics that maybe at some future time we can wean off the public, but for launch, you got a heavy burden in that you're going to have to put an icon on the road.
So you're more in favor of going back than making it more modern?
I think with what you've got as a base, there are some things we could do with that body right there, subtly, that give it the distinction. I really do.
Someone else, Don?
Yes, I've given that some thought, your question about the market and what would the market like. Basically, this car is going to appeal to leading-edge baby boomers. I mean, we're talking about a $30,000 vehicle, so as far as affordability for a two-seater, maybe empty nesters, the kids have left for college and whatever. And this generation, which I'm in myself, remembers the 50s and early 60s. And they grew up with these kind of cars, and they like the retro look and the look of that time from my own personal perspective. So I agree with the other comment that rather than being, it really needs to be a modern update of a classic. And it's close, but there's some cues that could be added that would get it all the way there. The body proportions are beautiful. I really like the body, but I agree with some of the other comments regarding boot and having the body color come all the way up to the back of the back seat, and something with the exhausts and making it look a little more American. And I think we'd be there.
Okay.
The wheel treatment.
Okay, thank you, Don. How about someone else? Ted?
Observation on the two-seater in the market. I think over the last 15, 20 years, the people that have come out with products like that, they've got a life cycle of about 2 years or 3 years before they fall in disfavor. And I think what we're all hopeful of here is that however this comes out, it's going to make a statement, and that statement is going to stay for longer than that 2 or 3 years. And so I think it's important that it is identified as a Thunderbird. It can be a modern Thunderbird, but we hope when it gets to 2010 or 2020 that people are going to remember this next one.
Okay, thank you, Ted. Dottie?
One of the things, I like head-on the front end of the car, but as it turns and you get the profile and you look at the front quarter, it says Taurus to me. And I'm not sure I want my Thunderbird to look like a Taurus in any way, shape, manner, or form. I want it to be distinctive, I want it different, and like from this angle it looks fine, but when you see the nose straight on and the way it comes down like a Taurus.
On the three-quarter front view is what you...
On a quarter front view, well,
Come around.
when it comes around, yeah.
And it sticks out.
Yeah, it really sticks out, and I'm not sure I like that portion of it. See, I like this portion here where you don't see it. Now, as the car comes towards me, it almost looks like a mouth. And I'm not sure I really care for that.
Okay. Anyone else on...
Well,
Bruce.
on the marketplace, I was looking for two-seaters prior to getting our Thunderbird, and I was looking at the Z3, the BMW Z3, and you know, I would think when this comes out, it should be better than that in looks and in feel and everything else. And to me, the Z3 just has a lot more energy, a lot more sex appeal, and every other kind of appeal you could think of. And to me, this just looks flat compared to the Z3, and the Z3 is already on the road.
Okay. Anyone else? Karen?
I think that one of the other area of the market that you would want to appeal to are the people that, younger baby boomers that don't really have any memory of the 55 through 57, but yet knowing that it's taking all the cues from the 55 through 57, I think makes it very appealing. I would liken it a lot to what was done in the 94 Mustang. There were a lot of cues that were taken from the 64, and that seemed to be very popular.
Okay.